Greetings, Patrick here, 8 Questions with. Welcome to the show. I know, Halloween Thursday, right? It's like what happened? What happened to the other shows? Well, our we did our Clash of the Titans on Monday during the day, but our good friend John couldn't make it for that nightcap, so we have to try to reschedule that. And then we also have a show on Saturday. So we did get 3 shows in. It's just that they were spread apart. Starting in July, we're going to be going down to just 2 a week. 2 a week. We're going to do that for a little bit. It's just I just need to slow down just a tiny bit. There is our good friend Rick, supposedly, but we'll have to throw up our password out here. You know what they say, you got to be careful. You know, there's all sorts of crazy people out there, so we got to throw up our password and see if it passes. Our security system's tight on lockdown. Make sure it's really who he is. Otherwise, trouble. Anthony has finally reached 2014 on his memoirs. All right. Yes, this is the true Rick is in the house. What's going on, Rick? Yeah. No, I'm actually gonna have that looked at. I actually think I'm gonna go do it tomorrow. Actually, I'm gonna see about getting my account back. Yeah. I have to make a trip down to my provider to see if they can help me with my phone. Tonight we are doing musicals. Today's all about musicals. I'm posting a review a little later on about about the musical that I just watched and reviewed today, and that was Carousel. And now tonight we'll be joined by the mighty Prison City Brigade, which is a punk rock band out of Joliet, Illinois. And these guys kick some ass. I tell you that right now. I've listened to their music on Spotify, and they're the real deal. Extremely good. Incredibly good vocals too. Unusually good for a punk rock band. Unusually good. This is something more pop. More poppy. The voice. I mean, good vocals. Not just the rushed. The 30-second rush. As a lot of punk bands do. But these guys can sing, and all of them can. All of them can really sing. And so that's a little different for a punk rock band, and I'm intrigued because I always like my punk rock bands with a little bit more depth to them. See, Sue, yes, I'm gonna go watch your Hellcat special. I saw that you posted that yesterday. I'm gonna be there to watch that. I'm a big fan of World War II and World War II planes, and I do know about the Hellcat, which was actually a lot of people think the P-51 was America's #1 fighter plane in terms of kills, but it was actually the Hellcat. The Hellcat destroyed more planes than any other U.S. plane during World War II. So I will definitely go over there and check that out. Let's see. So yeah, Prison City Brigade will be here. I had an assist on this show tonight. I had an assist. This was brought to my attention for our good friend Ant from Ant Reviews Things and the Friendly Men. He came up there and said, "Hey man, I got something for you," and turned me on to Eddie. And yeah, I said, "Hey, come out, hang out with us here," and he said, "Sure." And so hopefully we'll get Ant up here too, because I believe in giving credit when credit's due. And I really do believe that, and I try to exercise that on my channel best I can. All right, well, this is quick. One of the band members is here. I'm not sure if they're coming together or they're coming all or they're separately, but we're just going to answer them one at a time as we go. Okay, the first one through the door is Zero. Right. What's going on, Eddie? Good. Zero, I love the name. I love the name.
Thank you. I'm
Yeah,
just
we're.
trying to stay cool at the moment.
Oh, I know. Isn't no kidding, right? People could probably hear my fan going on overhead. So glad you guys are here, man. I this warm, listening to you guys warm my heart because I come from a background of live music myself. I was a talent buyer in California for 10 years, and I saw my fair share of great bands, great punk rock bands, and I appreciate a good one. So I enjoy listening to your music quite a bit.
Thank you. I appreciate hearing that.
Uh, I'm not sure if I was just mentioning that we're hoping that our good friend Ant from Ant Review Things. I hope that he's not being kidnapped by James from the Friendly Men and have him hold up at a Dairy Queen. That happens sometimes. So we're hoping that Ant will make it here with us as well as Possum and Ratchet.
Yeah,
Well,
I had told them 7 o'clock, so they should be on their way.
that's fine. That's fine. I go on a little bit early to just to get things going a little bit. That way, get the chat up and running. If anybody wants to come a little bit early, they can. Um, it's funny too, and I mentioned this before you got here. I just got done reviewing a musical from the night from 1956. Um, and now we're talking from a punk rock band from today. I'm telling you, the extremes is the extremes between the two sounds is not lost on me. Uh,
Well,
what about you? What about you? That's a good question for a vocalist and a songwriter. Um, what music besides punk rock do you like listening to?
so I listen to a lot of different like older movie soundtracks and everything. Uh, One of my go-to is actually the Streets of Fire soundtrack.
Oh, yes, yes. Michael Pierre was in that, I believe that,
Yep.
right? Yeah,
And Diane Lane, Rick Moranis, Willem Dafoe. Yes, it's a classic.
yeah. That God, I haven't seen that movie in years. But I remember Michael Pierre. That was the movie that broke him. And then Dan Hartman sang the title track, but he passed away not that I want to say within 5 years of that song coming out. That movie, I think he died of cancer.
Some,
I can dream about you. I think it's like I can dream
Something
about
like
you.
that.
Yeah, yeah. He got a big hit out
Yep.
of that, but
Yeah.
I think he got sick right after that. But it was a good movie. Good movie. Fun. I remember that. I remember that when it came out. Uh, yeah, I love musicals. I mean a good rock, a good punk rock band. I mean, a good musical. It always always warms my heart. And I'm with you. I like listening to movie score. I tend to listen to more scores than I do soundtracks because a lot of the times the soundtracks always play the same damn songs. Like if I
Yes.
never hear "We Will Survive," I'll be one happy guy because it seems like every other album that comes out there has the same 4 or 5 damn songs on it. Um, all right. Speaking of things, looks like Ant. Hey Jerry, how are you? It looks like Ant has escaped James's grasp, and he'll be on in a few minutes. That's a good thing. I was worried. I was worried about Ant. I thought he was going to be holed up in a Dairy Queen and not be able to make it tonight. But I'm glad that he is. Um,
So I might have to switch over to my phone because I guess there's a storm coming in and my Wi-Fi is starting to act a little spotty. So if I
sure, I
drop
get
or disappear, that's what happened.
it. Yeah, if it does, just come right back to how you got here.
Yep.
All
Yeah, I would
right.
say the moment you said that you use StreamYard and everything, I'm like, perfect. Yes, I know how this works. It's what my podcast uses. So perfect.
Yeah, we're hopefully. I think we're supposed to be getting some storms too here. It is a little overcast here tonight. We had rain earlier today. We've had rain since Tuesday. Uh, Pretty much off every day. We've had storms roll through. Nothing too major. Just some rumbling, some thunderstorms, but nothing. We didn't get any rain out of it. We just heard the like heat lightning. So
Well,
yeah,
that's like we
that's
were supposed to get. we were supposed to get storms last night. We were supposed to get storms the night before that. And it's just like right now, coming home from the gym and everything, you see the clouds coming overhead, but
Right.
you know deep in your heart they're not going to open up.
Yeah, it's a lot. Yeah, I could hear them. It's weird. I tell you what, the weirdest thing about the weather is when you can hear it far off and there's nothing going on by you. Like I could hear the thunder, but it was miles away. It was like off to the south. Because I walked out and I looked, and our weather was fine, but there wasn't any big storm clouds of doom coming our way. It was just like you could hear it in the distance. All right. I believe this will probably be Ant. Let's see. No, Noam Chomsky. That sounds like Ant.
Oh,
Actually,
God.
I had to be a smartass about it.
oh, okay. This must be Possum.
Oh, I could change it.
No, that's fine. No, I was actually expecting Ant. I was actually expecting Ant to come in with Blizzard King for his name.
I need to get my headphones. I can't hear shit.
Now, are you guys all based in Gillette? I mean, do you guys all live there, or do you guys spread out a little bit?
We're around the Joliet area.
Okay.
Like
Trying to
technically,
put
I'm
this
in
on my
Rockdale.
speaker or something because I can't hear it worth the shit.
Possum, are you using your phone?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm trying to remember how to do that fun stuff.
As long as you don't have another source on,
That should be better.
Yeah, like if you have your computer on, just turn the sound down.
Oh, never mind. I can't hear you at all.
Oh. Yeah, I've had a few storms come in.
I can't hear them at all. Okay.
We just go through as best we can. Oh, he disappeared on us. He'll be back.
He'll be back.
So I guess one question I can ask you while we're waiting for people to show up, how did you meet Ann? And have you met Ann and both James as well?
So I'm not 100% sure. I'm going to assume it was through Punk Rock Tacos.
Oh,
I know we were supposed to play the Taco Fest a few weeks ago, but due to like work scheduling and us taking off time already to go on tour and whatnot, we weren't able to actually be able to play it because we'd already taken too much time off of work.
Right. Yeah, that's the bane of a band. It's like and tell you the truth, man, it's in the old days, a lot of times a lot of band members, they would do a tour and they just kick the job to the curb, they say, oh, I'll just get another one when we get back. But I would definitely not advise that these days.
No, it unless you have a multi-million-dollar record deal and stuff like that, you need to keep that day job until you hit it big. You really do.
Yeah. You just can't just pick it up, drop a job, pick up another one, you get back. It's not nearly that easy these days. So yeah, I get that. Now, how long have you guys? How many tours have you guys gone on?
I don't know, Possum. How many have we gone on? He's talking, Possum. We can't hear you now.
Yeah. No,
Right. I forgot I had it muted.
There you go.
You good now?
Yeah.
Yep.
Sound great.
Yeah. So, oh shit, because I was gonna say, I mean, if we're counting like weekend runs, that's quite a few. It's like if we were to count like, if we were to say like ones that are like multiple days, like at least a week, then probably only like 3 or 4 times. But yeah, that's sort of for the 5 years that I've been in. I don't know for how long the band's been a band. How many times you guys have gone on tour?
That's
I
not a
think
bad idea,
prior
though.
to prior to COVID, I think we'd only been on 1 or 2 maybe.
Oh, really? No shit. I got it when you guys like 8 years in too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hello.
Yes.
I had some technical difficulties. My cat would not let me put up my equipment.
Of course, I feel that.
Let's hear it for the cat. Is he orange?
No, she's a tuxedo.
A tuxedo? Yeah, they're right behind orange when it comes down to troublemaking.
Oh yeah. She won't leave me alone. Hey, Beans.
Cats are welcome here. If you
All
look
right.
to your,
I'm gonna switch over to my phone.
if you look to your upper right hand corner, I guess it'll be maybe left on your side. You'll see the cheetah.
Oh yeah. Beans, if you knock down my stuff one more time, I swear to God. If I only didn't just spend $1,400 on you.
Oh wow, you're a dedicated cat mom.
Well, she needed to get spayed and a dental and a bunch of other things done.
Yeah. I think who'd we lose? We lost
Eddie.
okay,
Zero.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, we
Zero.
did. What the hell?
Hey, honey.
He said he has storms rolling in, so he said it might happen to him. So we're still
I think he's gonna
no, he
switch
said
to
he was
his
switching over to
phone.
his phone.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Beans.
And then
Stop it.
maybe and Ant said he'll be up here shortly as well. From Ant Review Things. Well, it's very nice meeting all of you for sure. I enjoyed listening to your music, and I think you guys got a great little band going there. I mean, it's very tight. It's unusually strong vocals. A lot of bands don't have strong vocals like you guys do. And maybe they might have a singer that's really strong, but the backup's not so much. All three of you guys can bring the laundry. I really enjoyed listening to you guys.
Oh yeah, I don't know if I don't know. I like doing my punk voice a lot, but also I do enjoy doing backup vocals. The
I
woes are
sometimes do
fun.
backup vocals if I feel like I'm not being lazy.
All
The
right.
woes are fun.
All right. Everybody else set?
The woes are fun indeed.
How about your storm, Zero? Is it coming in still, or are we ready? Are we ready to rock and roll? I think we're.
He's 10 minutes
Looks like he's
from
having
me, and
issues.
the storms aren't
You're
even
like,
here
I don't
yet.
know what he's talking about with some storms.
I don't know what he's talking about.
Yeah,
He's literally
I'm like, he's not
7
too far
minutes
from
away
you.
from me.
He's not too far from me either. We're still in the like southern parts of.
Yeah. What's it look like outside?
Clear.
Oh,
Fine.
Yeah, it looks pretty clear
No
here.
rain. It's a beautiful sunset.
yeah. We got gray overcast as well. I have my ear open for the first crack of thunder. Like I was telling Zero earlier, I'm sitting here and I hear the thunderstorms and they're miles away from me, but I still can hear them. And it's like it's perfectly fine where I'm at, but they're in the area. All right. Well, let's get this party going. So Prison City Brigade. When I first heard the name, when they came up there and said, "Look at you, I got you a band. I want to listen to Prison City Brigade." The first thing I thought of was the legendary punk rock band Youth Brigade. Are you aware who they are?
Yep.
Familiar, yeah.
I'll say I've heard of them, but not like I don't know any of their songs off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Well, luckily for you, I'm old enough to tell you that I was around when they played, and yeah, you guys, that's a great name to have. I love the name. I think it's a great name, but definitely feels like it today, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I guess that'll be one good thing we could jump off about is about did you guys all share the songwriting, right?
For the most part, yeah.
Now, what's it like writing in today's atmosphere? Do you guys all write as a team? Do you write individually? Do you get together over coffee and talk about what's going on in the world today? And as far as that Here is the answer.
Well, we get all of our jokes out at band practice for sure about what's going on in the world today.
That is
But-
a nice shirt.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
But for the
All
most
right.
part, one of us will write lyrics and then like bring it to the table to be like, guys, let's do something with this. And it's like, hell yeah, let's do something with that. And then we do something with it. And that's how we make our music.
It's
Usually there's usually like 2 or 3 revisions, but yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, what's going on with the world today? I mean, everybody knows the punk rock. It's always been a protest music. It's always been more than any other type of music. It's always been about the protest against the social injustice that we see in this world, and overcoming the man and what have you.
Patrick,
Yes.
Patrick, they're from Joliet, Illinois, where the Blues Brothers was filmed.
Uh-huh.
That's Prison City, in case you didn't know.
Yeah, that's that's where they have the death row house, right, for Illinois.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you
Yeah.
guys are talking to
Yeah.
this old man.
Uh,
Now, this old man Patrick over here, you don't know. Hey, really quick though, it can't be on here long, right? You guys were at this show.
Which one was that one?
Was that the tornado show?
That was the tornado
Oh,
show.
No.
Remember
That was
that?
a Halloween one. The
Yes,
tornado
it
show
was.
Oh, that was a
was
Halloween
with
one.
Moxie, I think.
But was that
Yeah,
one
the
that was
tornado-
a
Moxie played that
tornado?
day.
No, the one we played in July of that year was the tornado show.
Okay,
The,
yeah.
Yeah, because
the Halloween
Moxie had to
show.
play inside. They ended up having
Yeah,
to do the show
we had to
inside.
hunker down. We had to hunker down.
The Halloween show was Possum had to pick me up from the airport that day. Then we had to go grab all my gear because I was on an away assignment out in New Jersey. So I
Yep.
slept in the van for like an hour before we played.
Yeah,
Because
I
that's
remember
what
that one.
the Centurettes played, and Patrick has interviewed the Centurettes. And remember that show? That was the show where that old man came out and told the Centurettes to shut the fuck up. That was amazing.
Yes.
I'm sure that went over really well.
Yeah.
Not really.
No. All right. So a tornado show. You guys played during the tornado warning?
Yeah, we didn't hear the
Tornado warning
sirens.
is one way to put it, but a
Yeah.
tornado. The
Didn't it hit like
sirens were
3?
going off, and a speaker fell on top of me from the wind.
We had no
Yeah.
idea because we were still playing, and we
Yeah.
I was like,
didn't
did
stop.
the tornado
playing.
touch? It
I
touched
think
down
you
like
guys
what,
were all
3 or
gonna be
5 miles
able to do
away?
Yeah, and we thought people were joking about like, wow, they're gonna play through a tornado just because it was like some bad rain at first. And we're like, ha ha ha, like, yeah, it's whatever. Not hearing the sirens.
Oh my god, that's crazy. You know
Once
what
the
that happened?
sirens started, yeah, we were
about
oh
a
shit.
year and a half ago.
People think we're badasses, but really we're just dumb. We're just jackasses.
Very ignorant.
Well, we took shelter. Everybody took
Until
shelter.
that guy came out and was screaming like, "Stop!
we
were like,
gotta
"Whoop."
get in the fucking side.
And the thing
Well,
was, he
everybody
wouldn't have
was
even gotten
in-
our attention had
Everybody
that speaker
picked up
not
something and
come.
brought it in.
Oh yeah.
And I didn't even stop. We wouldn't have stopped.
Now, with the building that you're hello?
Patrick,
Hello?
you're
Mike.
someplace.
Oh no, he's vertical
Yeah, Patrick,
and frozen.
he's old, dude. He doesn't know what he's doing.
Oh no, we lost Patrick.
Yes, I'm gonna take over. Good to see you
Okay.
guys.
Good to see you as well.
No, very good, very good.
He'll be
Nice
back.
shirt.
Good thing I found this. I stole this out of the bathroom during that show and I tucked it into my shirt.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
I'm 125 pounds and I somehow stole that thing out of the bathroom and nobody gave a shit.
Hell yeah.
Yep. Yep.
That was such a good
Hopefully
story.
Patrick will be back.
That was actually where we met Misunderstood, dudes.
Yeah.
Oh God.
And see how
They're going to be
far
playing
we've
at Punk Rock
fallen.
Tacos coming up with Bass Amp and Dano on the 5th.
Well, now it's my turn for my
shit.
my fun to go.
There's
through.
Michael. Or Patrick. There's Patrick Michael.
All right. So you guys played. You guys have played through a tornado. Obviously,
Yep.
it's the most unusual thing I'm sure you play through.
I'll take that headline anyway.
How long ago did that happen?
That was what, 2 years ago?
Yeah.
It was Saturday 7th, October Saturday 7th, in Carroll Stream, Illinois. It doesn't say the year. God damn it.
No, but I'm pretty sure
It would have been about 2 years.
No, that was 2 years.
Yeah.
Because that was around Halloween time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now you guys made a T-shirt, right? For that, or did you make a T-shirt for that? Like I went and saw Prison City Brigade, and they came back with a tornado.
No, but we missed.
Oh my
We
God,
definitely missed an
why haven't
opportunity
we?
there.
I don't even know who drove home.
Yeah, we had our first tornado in my area about a year. Going to be on 2 years in August, and our one didn't go off either. It snuck in on them. Next thing you know, we had like an F-0 tornado come in and tear up a park and literally go down one of the main roads. It didn't go inside
Hey,
the
Patrick, this story's awesome. Patrick, I hate to interrupt you, but I gotta go. We're
Okay.
getting systems over here, and I gotta make sure like everything's out. The plants are fine. So have fun with Prison City Brigade. Love you guys. I'll get you some shows on Punk Rock Tacos. Talk to Noah Carone from Punk Rock Tacos. Let's get you on some shit. Let's do it. It's on you, Pat. Good luck.
I want to play Bowl Bash again.
Yeah. And not at 1 a.m.
Yeah.
Okay.
And not at 3 in the morning.
Our thanks to Ant and the Ant for Ant Lee things and the friendly man. Thank you so much, Ant, for stopping by. Now let's like I said, let's get this ball rolling, so to speak. Now, how long has the band been? When did the band first start? And are you guys all original members of the band?
Well, Eddie is.
So the band started in 2013, but due to like lineup changes every other month and people leaving, it didn't really start taking off until about 2014, 2015. And then in regards, like, Ratchet, you can explain how you came into the band, because that's a great story right there.
Well, yeah. I don't know what year that was. Was that 2015?
It was 2015. Right? It's been 10 years since I went in the bonfire.
Oh my God, it has been 10 years. So I went with them to their first Bull Bash in Skatopia. Do you know what Skatopia is?
No.
So Skatopia is like an anarchist commune, DIY skate park, like just mayhem. And they have a yearly festival called the Bull Bash. Prison City Brigade went. Now, I wasn't in the band at the time. I had my own band. I was a rhythm guitarist for Bumsy and the Moochers. It was a ska band. I only went with them to run their merch because I wanted to experience Skatopia, because like what punk doesn't want to go to an anarchist commune? And so I go, and their bass player couldn't make it. And then their fill-in, their van got stuck in the mud, so they couldn't help. And then I'm sitting there on the sidelines, and they're like, where are we going to get a bass player? What are we going to do? And I raise my hand, and I'm like, yo. They're like, you could play bass? I was like, yeah. They're like, you could learn all the songs? I was like, yeah, it's punk. And there you go.
Can you hear me?
I learned all the songs. I learned all the songs in the van in like an hour, and then played the show with them that night.
Okay, so you guys.
And then Eddie went in the fire.
You guys can hear me okay?
Is he frozen? We can hear
him. Yeah, we can hear you.
Got it.
Okay. I'm gonna just stay face down here for a second, because I don't know what's going on with my phone. It gets really heated and it tosses me out. So all right. So you came in at the last minute and at the Calvary, That's always a good thing. And he helped say the performance. Now, did you find? Was it a hard switch to go from a ska band to a punk band?
A little bit, because I was so used to being so like poppy and pokey, and walking with the bass lines and stuff. And like that type
I was so used to something a lot
rhythm.
more complex, so dumbing it down was like hard to do.
Honestly, kinda. But our song "Gaslight" that kind of shows what I could do with like my ska-ness, but also like in a punk setting. Like "Gaslight" is the perfect like epitome of how like my skill set started on bass. And we wrote that song because someone ran into Eddie's gas main and ruined practice,
Yep.
and we got really pissed off.
Isn't it called gas leak?
Yeah.
Yeah, gas leak.
What were you calling it?
He was calling it gaslight.
Oh,
You were calling it
well.
gaslight. You're gaslighting me by the fucking name.
But yeah,
All I know is I played bass. I didn't write the words.
So Ratchet joined the band, and then she was on the first album, War on Boredom.
Yeah.
She took a promotion at a job and had to step away for a bit. And then
I thought going into restaurant management was the right decision. It's never the right decision. Restaurant management is a fucking lie.
Love yourself.
and then a few years later, we were planning to go on the road for like a weekend run. We needed a bass player. She was unemployed, and she's like, "Fuck it, I'll go with." And then after that, it's like, "You want to join back full time again?"
I was like, yeah. And then I've been back ever since. And that was what, 2019? Yeah.
Yep. And then, Jose, you want to tell your story about how you came into the band?
Yeah, because it's actually fairly interesting too.
It
was back when I worked at Amazon. I think it was 2016, I believe.
Yep.
Met one of my friends there, and he introduced me to Andrew, which was the old drummer for PCB. And he was talking to me about it because he said that he had like his grandma's funeral or something that day, or her wake or something along those lines. And he was like, "I'm not able to play that show, but I need someone to fill in." I was like, "Yeah, sure, why not?" I had one practice with the band, and I fucked that show up really bad. It was pretty bad. Paige wasn't in the band yet, but
no, I wasn't in the band at that time.
I didn't do too great with that one. So, yeah, whatever. I just kind of let that go. It was my first time ever really performing with a band. I was like, whatever, it's cool time. Fast forward, maybe 3 years later, PCB puts up an ad or a post on Facebook saying that they need someone to fill in for one of their shows again, that their drummer's not going to be able to. And I texted Eddie as a joke. I messaged him like, "Oh, I'm guessing, I take it my services are not welcome." And he was kind of like, "I'm sorry, who are you?"
So
I remember this like as one of my shining, embarrassing moments, and Eddie's just kind of like, "Oh, I don't know what you're talking about." Yeah. So I had to keep describing things about that show until he finally caught on. He's like, "Oh, now I remember." Well, if it makes you feel any better, I don't remember that anything bad, like anything particularly awful about that night. I'm like, "Oh, well, I've been dwelling on that for 3 years now, but I guess I'll go fuck myself."
So the thing about it is, because of how bad it went, I got blackout drunk. So that show kind of went in the way back recesses of my mind. And I didn't realize who Possum was until the first day he came over to jam with me. And I'm like,
it really said
I
it.
think
Like,
I
you
remember
remembered that show. You were like, I kind of recall, but you were like, I asked you I was like, "Oh, well, if you give me another shot, I'll definitely, I'll make up for it. I'll do a lot better." And you were like, "Well, we already got the spot filled, but our drummer is going to have to step down soon, and we're looking for a replacement." And I was like,
So he came over to the house. We ran through, I think it was Time and Fear, We Are the Brigade, and Take Back Your Scene, and he nailed it 100%. It's like, I remember looking at him going, "Are you sure you're the same guy?"
You're like, "Yep." I remember Take Back Your Scene was the one we worked on the most when I first started playing with you guys, that day that I came over for practice, because it was just such a tough one to do. But of course, with the previous bassist too, he was blasting his speakers, man. He was always turned up to 11, you know. So that also didn't help with like most of what I could hear when I was playing with you guys that day was just vibration.
Who was on bass at that time?
It was Rob.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did play loud.
He played
Go
loud
figure.
as hell.
Oh no, we lost Patrick.
We lost the
All right,
host.
so
It's my show now.
Yeah, Ratchet has kidnapped the show. So yeah, then Possum joined up. He did his first show with us at Porter's Tap in August of, what was it, 2019, 2020?
Yeah.
Something like that.
2019.
Ratchet, I know you weren't able to make that show. I know that much.
Yeah,
it was just Zach and I.
Yeah.
Is that the biggest problem for you know, I know it happens to a lot of bands, but it seems to always happens a little bit more with punk rock bands as far as maintaining a stable lineup. Have you found that to be true? And what do you think causes that more with punk rock bands than other bands? I mean, like I said, I know they've changed personnel a lot, but you know, over my experience has always said that it happens more with punkers than anything else.
Well,
Why do you think that? Why do you think that is? Is it the skill level being so different? The
No,
songwriting, or
the egos of men.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, pretty much. Men are very
And that's-
emotional.
And
Men are
that's why
very
we work so
emotional
well
and,
together, because none of us have egos anymore.
Yeah, we've all experienced ego death through embarrassing the hell out of ourselves on a very drunken night.
Yep.
Like we have no ego anymore. That's why we're good. That's why we're friends.
You guys have
I
seen
could
the
say-
worst of me. Like, I
could
can't
say
act
it's
cool in
more-
front of you guys. You've seen me cry about like I don't know, a video game.
Yeah.
You know,
I would say
I know Ratchet meant that as a joke, but you know, in all seriousness, though, that probably is the key to a band staying together is the lack of ego.
Gotta check your ego.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's the number one rule for a band to stay together.
I
as
have
long as-
shit my pants so much as an adult. I have no ego left. Like, I had celiacs, motherfuckers. Like, it was really hard to figure out.
We've all gambled on a fart and lost. It's okay.
I almost did it today in work outside.
Now, does that interfere with your playing, Ratchet? Your illness, does that interfere with your playing?
Oh yeah, I have to tour with a cooler full of food I could eat because I never know when I'm gonna be around food I can eat.
In a little bit.
Wow. So your disease is food allergy related, right?
Yeah, I can't have any gluten.
Wow.
And they put gluten in fucking everything.
Yeah,
Needlessly too, I might add.
that sucks. All right. So what was the first gig that you guys played as the current lineup? Tell us a little bit about that. Where was it at? How many songs had you guys gotten written together at the time you played your first gig?
So when Possum came into the band and everything, we actually had a rhythm guitarist and a lead guitarist at that point in time. So I was back on just vocal duty. The rhythm guitarist, he left.
When you only have to lug around a microphone.
Hey, I'm not one of those typical vocalists. I help you guys load in.
No. I'm just saying, like, it was nicer when that's all the room you took up.
It was really.
But then again, Zach's took up a lot.
So we had a rhythm guitarist and a lead guitarist. The rhythm guitarist ended up leaving. He got married, different job. And so at that point, I was half on guitar, half off guitar, depending on what song we were playing. And then our lead guitarist, him and his wife bought like 30 acres of land down in Alabama a few years back. So he's been gone. So we became a three-piece again. I mean, it's fortunate enough that myself, Ratchet, and Possum have been able to stay together despite losing a lead and rhythm guitarist and making it work. But it's actually turned into our favor because now we've been able to... We experimented with like the hardcore and the metalcore and everything like that. but now we can go back to our punk rock roots, and it's
Right.
really showing in our new music.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I think trios are fine. I've seen some of the best bands I've seen have been trios. I mean, there's it's I think sometimes an extra guitarist is sort of like a luxury. But I mean, as far as for a punk rock band, isn't it basically just a drums, guitar, bass?
Yeah,
Pretty
but
much.
I do miss having a lead guitarist though.
We missed
It
the
adds
Whitneys and the Strongholds and the.
The
it
Sprangle.
adds it adds a bit of depth because then you could have overlaying lead parts on the rhythm guitar part.
Hmm.
And I am not good at writing leads at all. I'm sorry, I can't.
Now, I was talking earlier about the songwriting. You guys all share it, and I'm thinking of right now, today's world. Right now, it's just got to be absolutely pure fucking heaven for a songwriter to write about write about what's going on. I mean, sometimes people say,
See,
"Well, I don't know what to write. I don't know what to write," and it's like, well, today you don't have to worry about that because there's so much to write about.
Turn
It's
on the damn
probably
news.
be a little overwhelming.
so to be fair, like originally with the band, a lot of the lyrics I wrote, it dealt more with like the mental health issues that people go through. Because it's not that we avoided politics; it was just we wanted to be a little bit different because it's an easy topic. However, with everything going on in the world, it's not something that can be ignored anymore.
No,
Also, at that point when we wrote Rough Skeletons, we were all going through some shit. Like
Yeah,
like we were all going through some shit. I was going through divorce, like Possum went through a divorce. Like we were all going through some fucking shit together and it showed in our music. And now we're angry.
and
And
right.
that's the other
it
thing too.
shows in
Like
our
what
music.
Yeah, we went through some, but like that definitely having that tour was very, very, very crucial to our bonding as a band because like we were like
Mhm.
hanging out and stuff and we were getting along, but man, it was like once that tour hit and like even me and Paige, like I like confided in her at some moments and stuff like that. Like I got really vulnerable around them and I was like, damn, these guys are cool.
And
Yeah,
that's the thing. Like people will ask us like when they go to buy our CDs, well, which CD do you prefer? They're all different in some way, shape,
Yeah.
or form. The first album, War on Boredom, it's basically in your face punk rock. It's some serious songs, some really stupid songs, just having fun. Trials of Survival, we kind of got a little serious, and that's where the mental health aspect came in. And then with Rough Skeletons, we just got dark. Like it was a very dark time.
Mhm.
mm,
And then
It was.
unfortunately, we were supposed to go on tour for that album, 13 shows in 15 days down the East Coast, back up the Midwest. And on day 4, COVID shut everything down.
Yep.
oh man,
The tour that never was.
I missed man. Oh man, we were supposed to be in Nolens
On my
on Paige's
birthday without a
birthday.
show to
Yeah.
play. We could have tore up New
And
Orleans together,
that was
guys.
my prime drinking age too, man. I was crazy
Yeah.
back then.
That's
I
when
can't even
I was still
imagine.
drinking.
I can't even imagine the shit I would have gotten into that day had we have gotten in had we had actually gone to fucking Nolens.
But yeah, unfortunately, the whole COVID thing, it definitely hit us in a way that, you know, the writing process kind of took a hiatus and we didn't know
Yeah.
what to do anymore.
We reclused and licked our wounds after that a bit.
Yeah.
did you guys play during the
Yeah, we had
lockdown?
to
I
take
mean,
a little bit of
a lot of bands.
Not really.
Um,
We didn't do much during the
We
lockdown. Like I said, we kind of
we
like
did
just reclused and licked our wounds during that time of just kind of like, man, that sucked. We all coordinated that 2 week time off work. Eddie booked all of those shows. Like we there was so much planning went into that. So much more that like
There was
because
so much more that had to be done.
we all have day jobs, you know. We all have to work to afford the roof over our heads. We don't do this for a living. And
Mhm.
like just for all of that to just be snatched away from you like that.
wow.
Ugh,
I
It was.
remember
You
go
guys mentioned about it being a dark area.
ouchies, bro. Ouchies.
I
Major
remember
Exactly.
ouchies.
we got home. I took the next day off of work because I still had the vacation time in. and then I canceled the rest of my vacation because I'm like, fuck it. I went to work the following day, and they're all like, "You're not supposed to be here. You're supposed to be on tour." I looked at all of them, and I'm like, "How the fuck am I gonna tour when
With
everything
all
is
the bars
shut
being
down?"
closed.
Right.
It was a very for that first week back at work. Nobody came around me because they knew I was pissed off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
I
Sure,
kept my
that's
time
fine.
off. I kept my vacation time and just did a lot of acid during COVID.
It's true.
But
Now,
to
now,
It's
answer your
very
question
true.
about
Time to
like,
expand my mind, bro.
you mentioned something
but
earlier. I wanted to touch base on because it's a different dynamic. But you guys mentioned that you guys, Possum and you, Ratchet, went through a divorce. Now, did that have to do with the band and touring and playing out, or
Oh
was
no,
that
not
just
at all. It was a really
No,
shitty
hell no. My
relationship.
ex-wife was a drunk who would beat me.
My ex-husband was a narcissistic piece of shit. Trust me, it
what?
was a blessing in disguise that we broke up, that we split.
Yeah.
Christopher Paul is here. I'm gonna go to the chat real quick. Say hi to everybody in the chat. Ant's still hanging out
What
with
up,
us.
There's a
chat?
chat?
Yeah.
How's it going, chat?
Hello.
Lady Valerie's with us.
Hello,
Andre's
fellow
here with us.
humans.
Frog is here with us.
Hello,
Come on,
This is my
Cleveland.
cat.
Frog. Beans is here with us.
The beans.
How old is Beans?
She's about 6 or 7.
Okay, she's young.
I just took her in actually from a punk house. we played down in Carbondale and I fell in love with this goddamn cat. And when they took her in, she was about 3 or 4 and never got her spayed. And then when I got to her, she's about 6 or 7 now. And I was like, we're getting that uterus taken out. I'm not dealing with that howling all night. Absolutely not.
Right. No. Well, that's cool. That's cool. I mean, it's there you go. I was just reading about that young lady that rescue who saved foxes. Yeah, you were talking about mental illness earlier, mental health, and I was thinking about that. That poor girl. She was
yeah,
yeah. Do you
you're
hear
talking
about
about
it?
the one with the fox rescue, correct?
Yeah, save a fox. I was
Yep.
really
Oh yeah,
yeah. I was
Oh,
really sad to hear
I
that.
haven't seen that yet. All my feed is way too
it was the
political
one
right
that
now.
had the Finny the fox that was always very proud of his little holes that he would dig,
Oh.
Uh,
and she would always be
so
very encouraging to him, like, "Oh, it's so beautiful, it's so nice."
so what was the first gig that you guys played as a unit?
The
As a
first gig we
3-piece?
played as a three-piece. What was the first gig?
I don't know. It's so long ago.
As just us three.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just us three. What was the first show?
Like I said, I don't know. I don't actually really
I don't
know. It
know
was so
because
long
to be
ago.
honest, when Zach left, things were a little bit up in the air. Like there was a
Yeah.
bit of uncertainty in this band at that time.
Yeah, there was.
Oh yeah. So you
I thought
figure
we were gonna
Zach
break
left
up.
in. So Zach left in October of 2023, 22.
22.
So God,
It
what
was
would have been
probably
the first show we played?
was it Top Fuel?
It was probably Top Fuel.
It was probably Top
Maybe
Fuel.
Johnny's
Or
actually.
Bin. Or the Looney Bin.
To be
Yo, I
honest,
think it was Johnny's.
there's a
I think it
very
was Johnny's on Hickory.
might have been.
Yes, it was.
Now, how
Yeah.
what's the scene like in your town? Are you guys considered one of the movers and shakers in Gillette?
No, Joliet Plainfield area mostly has like metal scene. The
We're
punk
the
scene is
redheaded
pretty huge
stepchild.
down here. Yeah, it's mostly metal around here.
We hang
We
out with
get
the metal bands, and occasionally we get to hang out with the punk bands in Chicago.
Yeah, when they
Occasionally.
accept us.
a lot of the
Uh,
venues around here are like, "Hey, last minute, can you guys play?" And we're like, "Yeah, I guess, but like, can we like plan an actual show here sometime? Can we stop being your last minute pick and like actually
Yeah,
have a
exactly.
show
Like,
here?"
dang.
Like,
oh.
I mean, to be
what's it like dealing with the clubs? I mean, what are the talent buyers like? Are they nice to you guys? Do they recognize that you guys work hard?
Like, there's one in Joliet that we play at frequently, and they're always cool with us. They'll hit us up a few months in advance so we can promote it properly, or if we need a show, we can hit them up. And then there's a bigger venue that we are kind of last minute. It's kind of like a surprise for everyone, even us.
Which I don't mind it because I'm like right down the road from that venue, so like I don't mind having to play there. It's like sure, yeah, I'll last minute's totally okay for me, but like also I like sleep and like.
Now, the one you play last minute, is that the biggest venue that you guys play in?
Which one?
The one where they ask you to come in at the last minute, is that the biggest venue?
Around here,
yeah. Because that's the biggest one.
I had a feeling.
Besides Morris Theater, that's probably our biggest one that we've ever played.
No.
I don't know. Golden Record this past weekend.
Golden Record,
yeah.
Yeah.
Or how about the 300 and some odd inmates we just played too? That was our biggest show.
You had to count the body up for that one.
Say again?
You guys played the prison, right?
Yeah, we played a prison.
Yes.
What what was that like? How did you get the gig? Yeah, let's talk about this. So how did you get the gig? Was there any reservations about not doing it? And what did you have to do? Did you have to pass any background checks or anything before they let you in?
Did we? I know you took my name down and stuff.
So how we got the gig was last year when we were on the road. Vanessa Hodges out of Kansas City. She runs Face Melter KC and Acoustic Alchemist. And basically, when we had played out there last year, she had brought up, hey, there's a program at Lansing Correctional Facility. I would love to get you guys on it, but they only do it on Thursdays. So there was a lot of planning logistically on how could we get out there and play a Thursday because it's an 8-hour drive,
Yeah.
Right.
And once a date became available far enough in advance to where we could book around it, we talked with Marcy, who runs the program, and the information, we got an email back with a list of do's and don'ts. Had to give them our legal name. We had to bring our photo IDs. We had to dress appropriately, no revealing clothing, wear pants,
couldn't have my titties out.
No titties.
It was the first time. It was the first time in a long time Ratchet was not able to go full Ratchet.
Yeah, the girl's gotta breathe.
Honestly, I still think you went full Ratchet, bro. You made them boys sing for you so hard. No, you went full Ratchet. You made them boys sim for you. You give yourself credit.
So you had to come into the prison. Did they have people there to help you set up or load in, or was everything did you have armed guards with you at all times?
So how it works is when we got there. Yeah. So when we got there, they have
lumber. Oh my god, lumber.
But when we got there, we loaded all of our gear up into a van that the correctional officers drove around, and then we had to go through metal detector, security check 1, security check 2, and then inmates that are a part of the program unloaded all the gear, got set aside. We're on a stage, and just the correctional officers stayed outside of the yard because they don't want it to feel like the inmates are under scrutiny, under watch. The program is there for them to enjoy. Okay. We were told that Lansing Correctional, it's a minimum to maximum security prison. It can be, if not, it is one of the most violent prisons around in Kansas. But during the 3 hours this show is going on, no incidents whatsoever.
Peace. Punk rock created peace.
Now you weren't the obviously it's a program, so you weren't the first band to play there.
No, we're the first out of state band. Like we're the
I'm
first out
pretty
of state
sure.
band from Chicago. Yeah.
Okay, all
Or at
right.
least the first band out of Chicago to play it.
No, out of state in general, she said.
Wow, that's how long do you guys get to play for your normal set?
About an hour.
Actually,
We played for like an
Nick
hour and 10
Nothing.
minutes, I think.
We got encored.
Yeah, Nick Nothing from Fatally Live actually brought in 2 microphones, and there is audio from our set. You know, the video is up on YouTube.
Yeah, we're gonna drop a live from prison album.
Oh, yeah, they probably wouldn't let you. They probably wouldn't let.
Hey, so if anybody's listening, they get a free thing to know. Hey, we're gonna release a vinyl live from the prison.
Right? Why not? I mean, Johnny Cash did it, right?
Yeah, we're gonna do
Ironically-
that. We're gonna release it, and only people who actually listen to this are gonna know that because we're not gonna announce that on Facebook.
So ironically, you mentioned Johnny Cash. Back in 1974, May of '74, I believe, he played the original Lansing Correctional,
Right.
which
that was,
we drove past the original. You know, it was cool. Yep.
Wow, that's got to be the most unusual gig you guys have played so far.
It's my
Yeah.
favorite one I've ever played.
Honestly, yeah.
And
How do the inmates take you guys? I mean, were they down
Oh,
with
they loved it.
down with the Prison City?
They
or-
loved
or-
it. They
Yeah.
absolutely loved
I mean,
us. Again, we got encored. Like we
They
never get
treated us
encored.
like a touring band, like an international touring band. You know.
Wow.
I signed so much stuff. I signed some dude's makeshift chessboard.
That's cool as hell.
Like,
so
That's
like
cool as hell.
I guess
What?
If I'm not mistaken, these sounds like minimum prisons. You know, like they're not. I mean, there weren't any hardcore. These are all like misdemeanors or
No.
non-violent criminals.
Nope.
No,
No.
sir.
Nope.
We cannot say what exactly we know about some of these people, but
Yep.
nope. The worst of the worst of any gang you could think of.
There are lifers in there. There are those in there for minor things. As I said, it's a minimum to maximum security.
Okay.
And we were in the open yard, it's Gen Pop yard, so it wasn't like we weren't behind any fences. There wasn't a special stage set up like in a different building or anything like. No, it was
We were in
Gen
a
Pop,
lion's
in the
den.
yard.
It was all. I guess it's all about trust, right? That's what they're doing.
Yep.
They're sitting there going like,
Yeah.
"We trust you to behave yourselves, and so we'll bring you some entertainment."
Oh yeah.
We were told that
you were asking a little bit earlier if there was like any hesitation that we had before this, and I would say that personally, when I heard about this, I know why these people do these things, and for me, the only reason why I joined music in the first place, why I started playing an instrument, why I started wanting to play shows and stuff like that, is to make a difference somewhere. I don't care about any sort of album ever getting like hits. I don't care about ever getting famous, anything like that. I don't want any of that. I just wanted my little slice of the pie to make a difference. And so far, that seems the way it's going, and that's honestly all I could ever ask for when it comes to music. So, hesitation, absolutely. And I would absolutely play that prison again tomorrow if I could.
100%, I would.
I
believe in reform. Like I do. I believe in like if you can get reform out of these people, but the way our system is set up right now is just so fucking wrong. Like it's just so fucking wrong. Like minimum sentence, it's just so fucking wrong.
Mandatory minimums are just as much a crime and just as much just legal slavery. That's all it is.
Yeah. Honestly, yeah. And if I could help make their lives less miserable for just one fucking hour, by all means, with my clothes on, by all means, I'd be happy to do so.
So one thing we were told is that, and you can see it because we haven't uploaded the photos yet. Vanessa went through the class where she could have her phone on her. We weren't allowed to, but they have to blur out all the inmate faces, obviously. But what we were told is that when you look at the pictures, the gentlemen sitting in the chairs in front, they are the ones that essentially run things on the inmate side. We were also told that it has been made very clear to the inmates that if anyone were to fuck up this program, it would not be a good day for them. So you're right. It is a trust thing. It's a respect thing. As Paige mentioned, you know, we're the first out of state band to play. Sorry, Possum mentioned that. Ratchet mentioned that we were asked for an encore, which apparently we're the first band to have an encore. And then there is a photo where you see them right up in front of the stage. Apparently, they don't normally do that.
There's a point where I forgot we were in a prison, and it just felt like we were playing a punk show. And then all of a sudden, I remembered. I was like, "Oh shit,
Felt like
I'm in
basically
prison."
like the Psychobilly Freak Show, you know?
Yeah, it was just one of the. It's one of those experiences where, and I've told people because they have texted me and they asked how it went. They messaged me. And it's like I can't text you how the experience was. It's one of those that has to go verbally into words.
Yeah.
I think what you probably did any of the bands reach out and contact you and say, "Hey, I saw what you did there. How can we get part of that?" Did you send in
there have been a few that have asked us. The first band, though, that, like, for example, we told Vanessa to look into and we're pushing them to go would be Pistol Party out of Chicago.
Yeah, Pistol Party for sure.
The thing about it is that with this program, would we like other bands from out here to do it? Of course. But going into it, you got to understand this is a respect thing. You know, you can't go in there and act like a jackass.
No.
This is for actual change. Like this is for actual to like help human suffering, you know? Like yeah, and they're actually talking about expanding it to more prisons too because they're seeing so much success.
I think I'm not sure if it started in Illinois or Indiana. I think Indiana, where they started the cat program.
Yeah,
they have inmates can have a cat.
Yeah, and the people are thriving. People are. It gives them something to look forward to. It gives them something to take care of. Like it gives them like a sense of purpose. Music is also a sense of purpose. Like
I actually felt sorry for one cat because the owner of the cat, he was on death row and his number came up. I was like,
oh, poor cat.
Yeah, I was like, well, you get to find somewhere else because he's off. Yeah, but I was actually surprised when they went in to interview the guy, and then behind him you can see his cat in the cell, and I was like, well, I didn't know that death row inmates got cats. Well, I'm like, okay, well, he did say that he had changed. He showed remorse for what he did, and I'm like, the cat probably did that. And it's interesting how much of a privilege it is for them to get that. It's like and it elevates them. Like, hey, I can take care of cat, and gives them. I'm all about that kind of rehabilitation. Okay, so that's probably been your coolest gig that you played played with. Now, have you guys ever played? Have you guys played any? Has any of the bookers given you spots with some nationals? Have you got to play with some national acts?
Power Man.
We have played with
Doyle.
We have played with a decent amount of national acts. I mean, prime example how we talked about last minute gigs and everything. There was a tour. There was a tour a few years ago where it was Messer, Keith Whalen, and Through Fire. They were going to be at the Forge. They needed a local opener. We got added 48 hours beforehand.
Pretty much.
I mean, right now.
Was that the time where we were like stuck on a small little triangle of stage?
Yep.
Yeah, that was literally had like that much room.
Yeah.
Big stage. You guys are in a 16 by 16.
Oh my God!
Drums included.
And you can't touch their shit either.
Yeah.
Nope. I will say,
what's it like booking? I mean, is it a pretty good? It's pretty, like I said. I know you said you play some of the bigger venues or whatnot, but how the bookers treat you? Do they give you guys give you guys respect in terms of where you play on the spot? I mean, you guys, I'm thinking you guys are probably main support and headliners by now.
The best way to put it is, in the past, bookers have been sketchy, hit and miss, but we have learned how to tell the signs of people to work with and people not to work with. And I'd say going strong over the last 2-3 years, I haven't really had a problem with any of the bookers.
Good. Bookers, talent fires have a responsibility. They really do. They have a responsibility to the band, and you don't do pay to play there, do you?
No. I don't think we've ever done pay to play.
Yeah.
No, we've been very good at avoiding that.
Yeah,
Some clubs do that. Though.
Even though technically, I guess most of our gigs are pay to play because we don't make any damn money.
Yeah.
It's like gas money and food and drinks.
Every tour we lose money. Like it costs us money to do this.
Like technically we're paid to play.
Let's talk about the one item that hopefully will get you out of that. Let's talk a little bit about recording. So, what's it like recording in your area? Do you have a good? Are there good recording spots, or any notable engineers that you want to hype up? That you give a shout out to?
All right. So, we have bounced around with producers and recording engineers. For example, our second album, Trials of Survival, was recorded by David Francis out of Third City Sound here in Joliet, Illinois. And then we went back. Yeah, he did the whole album.
Oh, shit.
And then we went back to him for our cover of Truth Hurts, that, Lizzo's song, and One Shot. And then there was Nick Nativo, who recorded Mirror Games. Unfortunately, we reached out to him, and he is actually out of the recording business. He wanted to focus on other things. More props to him. Paige, who recorded War on Boredom? That was one of your friends.
Oh, that was my buddy Sean. That was my buddy Sean in his basement. He had a little studio in his basement. Like not the greatest setup, but honestly, he's a great sound engineer, so he can make gold out of anything. He moved to Ohio.
Once again, shout out to Gary for doing the entire Rough Skeletons album for free for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Recording, mixing, all that shit.
He recorded the album for free?
Yep.
He recorded the album for free?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
As like a passion project.
He had no experience doing it.
Well, and the best thing is,
how many songs did you get on the record?
9.
Nine.
Wow, 9 songs, and he did it for free.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. The best way to put it is,
he must have loved your sound.
He was actually our rhythm guitarist cousin.
Okay, but still.
So we got a family discount, I guess.
But sound a lot too, definitely. He wouldn't just do that just because,
Oh shit! I gotta grab a charger. My phone's gonna die. Give me a second.
All right.
Beans, you take over.
As I said, we've bounced.
Beans is taking over Ratchet. Okay. Hi, Beans.
As I said, we have bounced around from, it depends on what the song is in reality, and who's available too. Because unfortunately, due to our work schedules and everything, we're kind of pressed for time because we never have an actual release plan. We kind of just record it, and it's like, all right, so when are we going to release it? That day looks good.
Right. Well, you know what though? Here's the secret for you. I don't know if you know this or not, but the secret is like, what you do is you make sure whatever booker is out there who's treated you the very best, you bring him the record release party. You go to him and sit there and say, hey, we got a new record that's coming out. We want to play here, and to release it. And 1,000%, he'll be there sitting there going like hail to the yes, because that is like there's a rule with bookers. The best shows to get are band's first show and any and all record release parties. Always guaranteed to have a full house. So, any of your bookers who've taken care of you, you go there and ask for them. I mean, and you get guaranteed played.
And that's the thing about it too, is that since we haven't really released an album in 5 years, a lot in the music scene
Man, it's been
has
5 years.
changed. A lot in the music scene has changed. I mean, for example, like unfortunately, due to streaming nowadays, it's more of a singles and EP market. Which, yes, we are going into the studio soon to record a couple singles, but at the same point, you know, is the idea of a full length out of the question? No, it's really not. It's just a matter of when. So,
But
Trying to see if I can bring back Ratchet.
I think her phone might have died, so she'll,
Okay.
she'll be back.
Yeah, she'll be back. Do you guys face any? Any problems with having a girl part of the band? I mean, are do other bands look down upon it? Because I know that works.
I would certainly hope not, because she could play that bass around most people in this area.
I was about to say, we don't have
circles around those fuckers.
I would say we don't have a chick in the band. We just have a dude with really long hair.
And tit.
I love it. Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, something that does happen, right? I mean, you'll hear some rude comments coming out from the fan, from the crowd or whatnot. It does happen. You just hope that it doesn't happen very often. But I think when you fire up your first song, I think you pretty much tell her right there just to shut the hell up. Because you guys are not the average punk rock band as far as their vocal sounds go.
No, that's the thing. That's the thing about like Ratchet being in the band. I've never heard any negative comments towards her whatsoever. And to be perfectly honest, I think it's because she gives off the bad bitch vibe, to where she could probably hang with anyone that goes to start shit with her. Hell, we know she can. We've seen it.
Now, what? Like I said, the vocal. I want to talk a little bit about the vocals, because where did you and Possum? Well, we'll wait for Ratchet to come back, and then we'll ask her this question. But when did you start singing? And I mean, and how did you know? When did you know that you had a better than average voice?
Wait! You just said my vocals are better than average?
Well, yeah.
I think my vocals are shit. To be honest with you.
Nope.
So
you got great vocals.
So with me, back in high school, that was back when like Killswitch Engage and As They Lay Dying and Trivium, they were all the big thing. I joined metal bands. I did the whole growls and screaming vocals, and then
I started off as a thrash metal drummer. That's all I did was thrash metal.
Getting older, with age, vocals kind of teeter-totter. So then it came to a point where I really enjoyed punk music, hence why I started this band as a punk band. And one of my big influences, like 90s skate punk, like Face to Face, Millencolin, Lagwagon. And I just sort of found the range that I was comfortable with. And every now and then I'll step outside of that range. Not to a point where I hurt myself, because I did that plenty of times in the past, where I would shoot my vocals for the next day.
Yeah, like Carnival.
Oh God, yeah. That was definitely outside the box, and it fucking hurt every night I sang it.
Same thing. Yeah. I mean, a lot of the Rough Skeletons album was.
I'm sitting here, and I got to tell you one thing.
Honestly,
I'm sitting here, and I'm noticing one thing already, and I'm not sure if it's true or not, but I'm going to ask you about it, because I have another question attached to it. One thing I've noticed about our interview here, I noticed that none of you guys smoke, which I think plays a huge part in vocals. Well, you maybe vape or whatnot, but you don't smoke cigarettes. I haven't seen anybody smoke yet. So that's is that the whole band doesn't do that?
So we all used to smoke cigarettes at one point or another, and we've just kind of gotten away from it. Like right now, I'm even trying to give up vaping.
That's a Zero Ratchet, isn't it?
Yep.
Okay. So, do you notice? Did you notice that as soon as she did that, did you notice your vocals started coming in a lot more smoother? And I mean, you guys got
I
great
did.
sound. I mean, you guys got a fucking great sound. So, did you notice that? And did you start noticing? Hey, I saw. Like I sound pretty damn good. And did you start turning around and sit there going like, I got to protect this. I got to, because this is my moneymaker right here. So what do you
That's
do? What do you do to protect your voice? How do you? What's your voice health like? What do you do to?
so one thing I will say about the smoking cigarettes and everything. Now that I've stopped smoking cigarettes, the recovery time from the show the night before,
Yeah.
it is very minimum. If I wake up and my throat's a little sore, hot tea and honey. But and Possum can tell you this, on the way to a show, I'm generally listening to whatever music I feel like, and 9 times out of 10, I'm singing along. It doesn't matter what it is,
Uh-huh.
and it's a nice vocal warm up in the sense of if my Spotify's on shuffle, I don't know what's coming next,
Right.
but it's being prepared.
Yeah. That's what I mean. I'm going to tell this. I'm going to talk to the chat with this. I put the Spotify up for you can go listen to Prison City Brigade, and those who have listened to punk rock before, like I know Ant, and most likely Frog, probably Hobbs, Ernest Hawkins, probably similar. If you ever listen to anything punk rockish, um, you can notice that a lot of times their vocals are always shot to shit. They're always raspy and phlegmy. When
Hmm.
someone who doesn't smoke, who takes care of their voice, whatnot, then you start hearing that melodic tone. And like I said, I mean, your voices are all three of them are on point. It's the one thing that just grabbed my attention when Ant told me about the band. He says, you're gonna dig the vocals, and he's right. The vocals are just like, like I'm just sitting here, I'm listening to you guys not as a fan. I'm not listening to you guys as a fan. I'm listening to you guys as a talent buyer. Like, would I book this band to play at my club? Hell to the yes, no doubt about it. All every day, all day. You guys got great vocals. I mean, you're melodic. You're in tune. I mean, I mean, you still got the raw power. You still have that, but you get a sense like there's more singing involved in it than shouting out, like most punk rock bands do. Which is one of the
See,
reasons why
and
they go through vocalists so much, because they don't take care of their voices. They never do. Um,
and
yeah,
and one of the things that was kind of a blessing in disguise when Ratchet started doing backup vocals. Her and I, we can generally harmonize, and that's without practice. That was just one day it happened. And then with Possum throwing in backup vocals, it adds that other layer. And the thing I'm grateful for is that we had a show not too long ago where my vocals were actually giving out. I'd been sick that week, everything like that. We still went on, we gave it a shot. I had a lot of apple cider vinegar that day to try. We tried everything to keep them straight. And my vocals were going out. They knew it, and they were able to pick up where I was falling off.
Hmm.
It's a beautiful thing
Sometimes
that
I'll
I
sing the
have.
entire disconnected with you.
Mhm.
Sometimes I'll sing
And
like
that's
the
it.
entirety of it.
And that's even when he doesn't have a mic. There's nights where they don't have an extra microphone for him, and there's other nights where they do. And I go to karaoke with Possum every now and then, and every time I do it, I say, "That's it. I quit the band. You can do vocals."
Ratchet, what do you do to protect your vocals? Because I know ska bands, all like everybody in a ska band always sing. They all sing. So,
Well, yeah, and I used to sing. So in the ska band, I used more of my my jazzier kind of voice, the more boisterous voice. And in this band, I obviously do more of a punk vocal. A lot of it is just breathing the correct way, using the diaphragm and pushing the correct way. It took me a while to like master getting that raspiness without harming myself. Like I just finally got it, and it's because I do yoga. Yogic breathing helped me master like screaming vocals.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've heard on some of the songs where you'll launch, really harsh, but then you start singing like, like it sounds 100% punk, but then it'll go into more melodic and because there's you still got to have some raw energy for some songs. I get that. I get that. Um, yeah, this is great. Now, how do you guys handle like what I want to know is, so when you guys go on tour, who controls the Spotify, and what band gets listened to
Those
the
two.
most? Oh, and what?
Basically, driver gets first pick, and they drive the most.
Uh-huh. So what bands do you guys listen to when you're not listening to your own music? Let's do for five. Let's do your top favorite five bands at the moment. Each of you. And we'll start with the lady first. What five bands that are kicking your butt now, Ratchet?
Well, one, I will always be a Rancid fan. I gotta.
Hell yeah.
All right.
Lars is a personal friend.
Just.
Lars is a personal friend.
Honestly, and it's not even Maxwell
Bring back
Murder.
Op Ivy.
It's not even Maxwell Murder that gets me the shivers with the bass work. It's Roots Radicals. Like that is
Yeah.
like my favorite fucking just. Oh, it fucks. And then I'd say Ash Nico, a pop artist, because like she a ratchet bitch just like me. I listen to a lot of weird stuff. Let's see.
Morgan was very approving of that.
A lot of folk punk too. I listen to a lot of folk punk. Matt Pless is one of my favorites.
Yeah, you just showed me on the other day. That was really good.
And then I listen to a lot of lo-fi hip hop in like the downtime. And because I don't like words when I have to like focus and do stuff, so I listen to like a lot of lo-fi hip hop. Like I don't listen to real music half the time. I was listening to movie scores the other day, like Hans Zimmer. Like
I was just saying that. We were just talking about that. I'm more of a movie score guy myself. I listen to that. Whatever I'm working, I'll put on movie score music, and it makes time fly by. I love it. What movie? What's your favorite score?
Well, one, Lion King will always bring a tear to my eye by Hans Zimmer. Zimmer, dude, the dude's a genius. I went to a classical concert, and it was a quartet who did nothing but Hans Zimmer scores, and like it was such a moving experience. And then when it gets into like Pirates of the Caribbean, like dude, start cleaning your house, and all of a sudden that song comes on, the theme, and you're like just sweeping along, just dun, 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 you're like pumped up, you know.
Shiver me timbers, matey. All right. What about you, Possum? What five bands are you currently turning into? Listening a lot to.
Oh man, I'm a huge Wu-Tang Clan fan. Wu-Tang.
Wu-Tang?
Yeah. When it comes to like more bands, I would say, oh man, what would be my favorite? That's a tough one because like naming a top five is I have so many bands that I love. Let's see. I'm looking at my records right now. Like, oh, what do I play more?
I didn't even say Distillers. Brody Dale is like one of my biggest influences in music ever, and I didn't even say Brody Dale. I didn't even say Distillers.
Angels, like, oh my god!
But here I am, like Hans Zimmer.
Hans Zimmer. I don't really listen to music. Oh wait, yes I do. I love music.
But why are you so stupid?
Rage Against the Machine is definitely one of my all-time favorites. System of a Down, NoFX. Huge fan of NoFX. Blink 182. My Chemical Romance, definitely, yeah. Suicidal Tendency. See that one. Everybody knows that one. That band. I have so much of their merch and their hats and all this stuff.
Suicide Machines.
I'm surprised you haven't said them yet.
Yeah, Suicide Machines. Yeah, that's the one I always forget about. That is my favorite band because I reclaimed that one.
I had high hopes of making it through the rest of the interview before getting kicked off again. All right, so who else did you mention? Possum.
Suicide Machines, No Effects, My Chemical Romance.
Oh, No Effects. Hell yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I mean, like, if we, I mean, bands that I love to listen to, we got to go to some, like, I love Opeth, like prog rock and stuff like that, Dream Theater.
Right. Oh,
Man,
yeah.
just all over the damn place.
King Crimson.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. What about you, Zero? I'm sure we're gonna hear. I don't know. You know what though? I have a feeling I'm gonna throw a band out there. I just have a feeling that Zero likes this band. But you ever heard of a band called Soul Asylum, Zero?
Yes, I have.
I have a feeling you like those guys. Am I wrong?
I do enjoy me some '90s alternative.
Hell yeah.
Okay.
I was gonna shit a brick if he said Blitzkid.
Well, no. Time out.
You decide that, dude. Don't lie.
Now, did you guys?
I was gonna say. So,
do you guys consider music from the '90s and early 2000s? Do you consider that music classic rock, classic music?
No.
Oh, thank
The
you.
90s was like yesterday, right?
Like classic rock to me sounds like they're saying like classic rock, but you can't necessarily have something become classic rock. Like it's always its own genre of like grunge or something like that. Classic rock was because it's like it was the original type of rock that like really became the huge mainstream of that. Guns N' Roses and your Scorpions and shit like that. I think it really is. So the classics, those are classic bands. You can become a classic band within your own genre, but it'd be like saying then we'd have to start going like, oh, that's classic grunge. Oh, that's classic punk. Oh, that's classic.
I heard
classic metal.
Some commercial radio guy sitting there going like, "We're gonna play some, we got a classic rock block up for you." Oh, okay, I'm listening to it. I don't really listen to music at all, commercial radio. But I thought, okay, wonder what they're gonna play. Sure enough, here comes Alice in Chains, and then it was something. And it was like, what the fuck's that? That's not classic.
That's not classic rock.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like the grunge era, you got like Nirvana, and you've got Alice in Chains, you've got Audio Slave, stuff like that. I mean, how can you call? I couldn't call those things classic rock, but I am not upset that they're being played on classic rock stations because now the music that I grew up listening to is being played on radio stations when I don't have like my phone or I don't have Bluetooth capability or something along those lines. The music that I really like is being played.
Yeah, it's funny. I've done a few interviews with some musicians and bands such as yourself, and I always surprise myself, but I tell the same thing every time. It's like I have not listened to commercial radio stations since I got to Michigan. I was originally from California. When I left California, got to Michigan, and I don't listen to commercial radio. I just can't stand it. They always play the same 40 songs. I just can't stand it.
I haven't listened to commercial radio in probably years, honestly.
If you try to listen to the radio all day anymore, you'll realize how many times they just repeat the same like 10 songs over and over. And then, oh my God, I didn't realize how long the ads lasted until I started listening to the video again. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm almost to my destination. This was like a 15-minute drive. Like, what?
Right.
But see, even when I was listening to the radio, I was still listening to 98.7 local radio here. That's classical music, and then they play bossa nova. So even when I was listening to the radio, I wasn't listening to the fucking radio.
So I guess my 5 bands that have been go-to lately. Number one being Blitzkid, which can't beat it. Face to Face, Strike Anywhere. Possum's having a conversation in the background.
Yeah, sorry.
Anyway, so Blitzkid, Face to Face, Strike Anywhere. And it kind of just depends what I'm doing throughout the day. It may end up like switching from punk rock to Fairtooth or I Prevail or Alisana, or even Blacktop Mojo. It all really depends on what's going on throughout the day and throughout the week. I mean, Ignite is on the list of bands I always go back to. It
That's one of the things with like those bands that like you never really cite them as one of your favorite bands ever, but you will always go back to the music. For me, that's Direct Hit and Get Dead. Those two bands I will listen to an entire album easily any day, but I always forget to mention them when people ask about my favorite bands.
Violent Femmes. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Me, I mean, I grab on, I go there and I listen to Penelope Houston, or I listen to Barbara Manning. You guys mentioned, folk punk. I listen to a lot of folk too. I like listening to Dar Williams or Jan Arden. I mean, those are really good. Those are really good. Of course, I mentioned, mentioned Soul Asylum, and a lot of the bands from the '90s, which was my heyday. I still listen to a lot of their music. Belly or bands like that. So, so I guess my last question here before we get out of here is, what is next for Prison City Brigade? What are you guys going to do the rest of the summer?
So, first and foremost, we've been hinting at it, talking about it. Sometime in July, we're going in to record 2 or 3 singles. We don't know when we're going to release them, but they're going to get recorded. We are not doing any shows in July except for one, which, Possum, you want to take that?
Wait, say that again?
July 31st.
Where are we playing July 31st?
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Punk Rock Taco?
Where's my damn calendar? I'm
God.
ridiculously high right now.
Okay, so July 31st in Beloit, Wisconsin at 5 Bar. We are playing with Suicidal.
Okay.
The original members of Suicidal Tendencies.
Yeah, your favorite band. Yeah, you are.
All I wanted was a Pepsi.
Hey, man. All I wanted was a Pepsi. I'm showing clear signs of wanting a Pepsi, but my mom just thinks I'm on drugs. It's crazy. I am on drugs, but I still want a Pepsi.
That song was so fire when it came out. We were all watching it. Speaking of, it's funny. Speaking of that, I just read this yesterday, last night, that you guys might be shocked to hear this, because I'm not even sure if you guys remember this or not. But do you guys have you ever heard of MTV?
Yeah.
Music television?
What's that?
What is that?
It's known as music television. What they used to call music videos on the station. They used to do that. They have all these different bands come on there, and then they play like a little video. It was really cool back in the day, but then they got away from it like 2000.
They still do it. They just have their own separate channels for it now.
And now all they care about are the Kardashians.
Yeah.
And no, that's not true. That's not true, bro. They care about is ridiculousness, and that's it.
Yeah.
Ridiculousness all day, every day. I'm like, no, it's not even the Kardashians. It's not even Jersey Shore anymore. It's just ridiculousness.
Well, they're going to be doing a full assault. They're going to play music videos for a solid week leading up to like the AMAs or something like that. So they're going to go ahead and play music videos for 7 straight days. And people are like, what's a music video? Because it's been that long since MTV has done it. But yeah, I thought that was pretty unusual.
Music videos killed the concept of being good in order to be a good band. After music videos came out, all of a sudden, if you had ugly people in your band, you couldn't hide it anymore until you got on stage. And now people didn't want to come to your shows because they're like, oh, they're ugly. I don't want to be there anymore. Now all of a sudden it became more of an image thing.
I can tell you right now, without a doubt, the ugliest band that ever played. In fact, they knew they were ugly and they wore makeup over it to
Kiss. Kiss.
Huh?
Kiss.
No.
No. Twisted Sister. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
Those guys were butt ugly, and they knew it. And so what they did, though, that but D. Snyder was a personal, very personable. So they used to face makeup on, and
But
got
that's the
away with
thing,
it.
is it became an image thing after that instead of you got your bands like Rush and stuff like that, they would be huge. But if Rush were to come out today, I guarantee there would be no way they'd reach the amount of fame that they did back then because of the fact that there's no appeal to the entertainment aspect of them. There's only that skill towards it. So that's why we don't see things like Dream Theater selling out the United Center, but we see, someone who, will lipstick on stage for 3 hours.
Right.
Sabrina
Taylor
Carpenter.
Swift.
Sabrina Carpenter, yeah.
Yeah,
Taylor
I'm not
Swift,
trying to, knock anybody's music taste or
no,
anything.
Taylor
Just
Swift
just the nuance of like the entertainment industry as it's become, because it's no longer the music industry; it's just the entertainment industry, and that
And
actually,
why do you
in my
think I
opinion,
keep my
spawned
tits
from
out?
MTV because of the rise of the music video. It gave that depth to it, but also you had these. Now you had like these rock and roll, and then all these all of a sudden it became about sex, it became about image, it became about doing drugs, it became about doing that, and all it became more of a.
I know.
You had to look like it and you had to be that person in order for you to get there.
It was really bad
Yeah,
right
but
there.
Possum, why do you think I play with like my tits out on a shelf? Because
Well,
the
yeah,
tits bring them in and the music makes them stay.
I'm well aware. And then they see my ugly ass face behind the kid and they're like, oh, jeez.
Uh, I think on that note, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. And we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. I want to thank everybody in the chat that came out tonight. Frog, Dylan, Ant, thanks for helping putting this together. Ernest, Chuck, Andre, Lady Valerie. Who else came in here? I think I see who else came in here. Jerry came in there. A few other people. Dell on movies. Thank you for coming in. And you guys, thank you for coming in too. Prison City Brigade, Possum and Zero and Ratchet, thank you so much. And Beans coming in
And
and
beans.
Beans.
coming in and and talking with us. I thoroughly enjoyed this, and we'll look forward to your new singles that are coming out, and we'll stay in touch. And when you guys get them, and you guys are getting ready to release it, we'll have you come up and talk about it.
Sounds good. Thanks again for having us.
Absolutely.
That was a good time.
You're going to
you
like
guys
what you hear, I guarantee it.
I'm sure I already do. To the chat, we'll be back on Saturday at 4 p.m. We'll be speaking with Alexander Mesky, Joe Cornett, and Tatiana Neva. We'll be talking about the Wide West. This is the Western movie, and we'll be talking about that and a bunch of other things. That'll be a Saturday at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific, and hope to see you there. And if you guys could just stay right where you're at for a minute, I'm going to say goodnight to the chat, and we will see you on Saturday. Peace.
Doses.